Me, you guys can hear me? It's going all well. It's going good. What's up, Rail Ryu? Yeah, we're live. Gene, how's it going? Early gang, absolutely. Peter Campbell, how are you? Sheridan Gaten, Sam Mizzou, King Sam, Leo, a beast hybrid. I don't. Where are you getting that from, though? Is like the bigger question. And what do you mean, like hybrid? Do you think he's gonna be like a lion man or something? I haven't gone into your theory enough, but at the same time, I feel like it's like the same category as your Noel C. Goddess thing. It's just like probably very loose in canon and way more into head canon. I personally think Leo will end up surpassing Marileona and Fuego eventually, but I mean that's a long eventually. And Tabata keeps making it way more difficult because he keeps upgrading them all over the place every single time that we end up getting like anything for them. And I'm fine with it, but at the same time, it just makes that gap that he needs to cover so much bigger. That's the difficult thing, really, in it, and because he hasn't, like, what did he get over the time skip? He got his, he's got True Fire, which obviously is good. The Profound Spiral Flames, which, more upgraded version of his Spiral Flames, already fine. And his Crimson Eruption, which I think is actually the best thing, like, just in the fact that it has massive AoE. And mainly because there's not a lot of characters in Black Clover that have big AoE, and if he's using True Magic, a massive set of Blaze that is going to be scorching up, his opponents as it's going. But I mean, Leo has... He's got the potential, and he's got the reasons to be there, but at the same time, Tabata doesn't give him the amount of love that really kind of goes with it. But he keeps him around, so it makes him a little more confusing. Rax's Black Clover actually cancels is taking a break. They haven't said yet. That's one of the weird things, is that there's no set idea of what's happening. But at the same time, if you look at Black Clover's numbers, both on a popularity standpoint, because Crunchyroll, every time Crunchyroll puts out numbers, Black Clover is high up in there. Netflix putting Black Clover on there, Black Clover does, becomes one of the most watched anime on their platform. It's one of the highest grossing and profiting anime for Tokyo TV. And when you look at the other ones that are amongst it, you have stuff like Naruto, Boruto, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Dragon Ball. So even if it's not as, like, it doesn't have the level of backing to it, like, in totality, because Boruto's a little cheating, like, for the most part, I assume most of Naruto clad onto it, and, Dragon Ball and Yu-Gi-Oh have their own big fan bases, but Black Clover is the only one in there that's really new, so it being able to level, like, close to these guys is really impressive, and so it wouldn't make sense for them to outright end it. I think it's going to be more of, like, what the Fairy Tail anime did, where they'll just take a break. I am hoping that it'll come back and they'll announce that it's going to be seasonal, but I mean, that's a bit of a difficult possibility, but I mean, at the very least, I see it just being on hiatus for, like, some months. Maybe comes back at the end of the year, because they are close to the... I just realized this picture, I'm going to try and darken it, because not doing this, I made this Photoshop, but I just realized that his color isn't nearly as dark, so it doesn't fit the rest of the picture. So I'm just going to really quick try and darken it a little bit and mess with the contrast so it will fit more into what's going on. I mean, let me see this, and it should update in my Streamlabs, because it's as long as I use the same name and it's in the same folder, I assume it's going to stay the same. Let me find out. Let me go to Streamlabs. Okay, it's the same. Sweet. Probably looks a little bit better. I mean, I have my stream going live on my other TV, so I should see it at some point, just randomly the picture get darker. Well, let me get some more in the comments. So, what's up, Javaldo Anderson? How are you? How are you guys doing today? Let me see. Where was the last person? Who's the last person I read? I think it was it Sheridan Kane? No, yes, sir. Sheridan Kane. How's it going? Mayor Ab Hansen. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but hello. How are you? Oh, it's just Rax. If you want to just call me Rax, but if you want to call me Hero, if you want to, you can call me the. I don't really care. As long as as long as it stays friendly and whatnot in the chat. Anti-Magic Mage, how are you doing today? I've been waiting for the stream, you don't understand? Yeah, Gene, the funny thing is, when I put out the stream this morning, I gave an exact amount of hours that I believed I was going to do it. And I got it, I did it at the right time. Like, I bet if you went to that post, it would say 13 hours. What's up, Rax? This episode is fire. What do you thought about it if you watch it? So I did watch it this morning. but I watched it this morning on my phone because I haven't watched it on my TV yet. I wanted to wait and then watch it later in the day on the full hype, because I wasn't gonna watch, like, sit down in my living room and watch it on my big TV when I get up, because the episode actually comes out shortly before I wake up, because for work I get up early always, depending on, like, when I have to go to work, but I get up at like 3:30 a.m. so I wasn't gonna go try and get comfortable downstairs on my couch, because I would have fell asleep. So I mostly just see on my phone. It looks clean as hell, though. I'm really excited to watch the episode again later. And again, it's one of those episodes that you can just rewatch because of how clean it was. I was super hyped to see, just in general, Asa versus Dante, and to see Dante in the anime, because I really like Dante. I mean, he's not like top 10 villains ever for me, but I do think he has the potential to climb the ladder on my personal list, just because I think his design is really cool. I like his magic. I like the fact that he's not one of those villains that has to be, like, all-powerful, like, he's untouchable. He's defeatable, but at the same time, you have to get him, like, kind of pushed into like, he doesn't take a lot of fights too seriously, because, you know, he's got OP magic on both fronts of gravity and body magic, but his personality trait, because each of the Dark Triad has something about, like, their personalities, that they don't take the fights seriously from the start. We saw Xenon is, like, almost dead-faced emotion, and then he gets that smile when he's about to deliver, like, a sinister blow against, like, who he's fighting. Vonica is kind of a similar manner. She's either playful and then kind of goes between, like, I don't give a shit about you trash, to excited, like, in the thrill of battle, if somebody is, you know, somebody's up to par with their standards. And then Dante, you have to get him in a bad position where you start to actually press him for him to fight seriously. That's the thing about him that I do think is interesting about his character. And what's funny about him, too, is he has, like, the exact opposite personality of Mard Gear, which, for the Black Clover fans, is that don't know, that maybe haven't touched Fairy Tail, other anime or manga. He essentially has the exact opposite personality of Dante. He hates showing emotions because he thinks that they cloud your mind and they make you irrational and make poor judgments. And I thought that was just really cool from the start, because it's a character that I like already, and then he's got, like, the flipped version of a character that I also like. And they're both tied to, like, this Demon King, but also at the same time they aren't the big total evil demon that they're kind of related to, because Mard Gear wanted to revive E&D, whereas Dante wants to let out Lucifero. I like that they have slight similarities between their characters while still having the absolutely different, like, layouts and displays and clear origins in the story. I thought that was really cool just in general, so I have enjoyed that. And like I said, I like Dante. I'm hoping that Dante, it's a lot more to him as we go. Maybe find out some more about his backstory and find out more of just, you know, what makes him tick as a villain. Because we know some of it, but we don't know the full scope of it. As well as, like, what is his plan after the point of, like, getting Lucifero? Is he just going to, like, work for Lucifero? Is he just want to let him out and just, like, his mindset is, I'll just figure it out as, like, the world slips into chaos or something? Because I'm fine with that either way. I just want to know. Let's see. Okay, Jason retracted his message. Yeah, Givaldo, what's up? Let's see, King Sinbad. I mean, to look at Veto compare... That actually would be kind of cool if he had some form of beast magic on top of it, or something that would let him transform. I think that would be actually pretty neat if he had maybe a lion transformation. Because Mayor Leonis is set more in the Hellfire. Fuego is obviously tied more to his spirit. He's going to be focusing more on the spirit, because he could be the lion. Because, you know, the thing about lions that is the big thing, that female lions do the hunting and stuff, but the big show of a lion is, you know, the male lion's mane. That's one of the big displays of it. It's like a tiger's stripes. And Fuego leaning more towards the dragon of Salamander, it would leave Leo into more set in the lion aspect of his magic and his family, and I think that would be really cool. I hope Black Clover isn't ending. I don't think it's going to end. I think it'll just go on hiatus. What's up, Coast Spirit? How are you today? How much longer do you think a BC Manga will run? If Kolfov is up to completion, is EOS, I guess it'll reach like 400, 450 chapters. I think it'll be something closer, maybe like to 500. It really depends on what Tabata plan, or rather, it really depends on what they let Tabata plan. Because Tabata said that he's fine going as long as something like Naruto, Bleach, or One Piece if they let him. And I think that with his setup style, the way that he writes his arcs, he could do that, because he very much writes his arcs similar to, again, like what he did with the Elf Resurrection arc, kind of like what Mishima did prior to Sirius Island. Multiple small arcs that are all their own thing, but they end up eventually leading into a larger arc, and then that is, a big conclusion that, has kind of the segue into what comes next. And then what comes next, I'm assuming, is going to play out similar and build to these previous ones. Like, we had the first part of the Spade War, where they came in, and immediately the big people came out, captured the people they wanted in each of their fights with them against the main cast, and got away. And so now we're into the next portion of it, and I'm guessing we'll get maybe like 2 to 3 more of these smaller arcs, and then we'll get into like the big arc for like the Spade War, and that will kind of run into the climax of that before whatever's next in Black Clover. We'll see. Let's see. Why did it say the final episode? I think it'll just be like the final episode for what they're set as, because I'm guessing if it comes, if they go on hiatus, it'll come back as like Black Clover and then an extra title piece, kind of like how you have Naruto Shippuden. You have Dragon Ball Z, and then even if it's the same series, they didn't add anything extra. Fairy Tail is separated with like, there's like Fairy Tail, and then it's like, what is it, like the 2014 and all these other extra numbers and letters and stuff in there, just to kind of give it a slight difference between them. Or like Seven Deadly Sins, like each of theirs is set with an extra bit of title onto the anime. Though I think theirs is more of the seasons rather than just the overall show. And just real quick, we got 42 people in here. Thanks everyone for showing up. We're going to be talking about primarily Black Clover because of the episode today. Episode was super hype. And obviously the news of what's going on in the anime. And anybody, it doesn't have to just be Black Clover. Like I said, we're going to primarily talk about Black Clover. But if you have any other questions from other series, like anything that I also review, go ahead and ask. I'll answer it. Like if I see somebody asking a question about Jujutsu Kaisen or Phantom Sea or something, I'm not going to ignore it because it's, got a Black Clover name. I mean, even in the title, like you look at the picture, like it's got 3 different series, like in the edit. So clearly, it's not full focus Black Clover. It's just primarily Black Clover. But yeah, thanks everyone. I really appreciate everyone with everyone here. If you thumbs up the stream, subscribe if you haven't, and like I've said consistently and will always say in my streams, donations are appreciated. They aren't required to be here. Like I'm not gonna stop doing streams just like if I do a stream where no one donates or anything. But anytime anyone donates, it is always appreciated. Because I see it more like a tip rather than, I guess, I don't really know what else a super chat would kind of be as some like attention grab. But more of like if you just have something you want to have a little extra, but also, throw a dollar or two my way. I always appreciate it. But anyway, let me get back to some of the comments. Let's see. Man, I was sad hearing about Black Clover after the hype it has become now. So the thing about it that's going to bother me more, because I don't think the anime is going to be gone. I think it'll be on hiatus, is people are going to milk the title of Black Clover canceled, Black Clover ending, or whatever. That's going to be more bothersome, like, way more annoying to me, personally, because, I mean, like, I don't think it's going to end, but I know people are going to be really wanting to jump on that clickbait and trying to get the views. I don't blame them. Like, they're gonna do their own thing, but at the same time, I'm gonna see it everywhere, and I think that's gonna be more of the thing. If it was just like, if I had a way to mute comments or video titles like that, I would, but I don't think I have the capability to do that. Black Clover anime stops episode 170. The original Fairy Tail anime stopped at 175. Definitely doing a hiatus. Yeah, I think so too. It would be really weird just to fully end it, especially like if they were gonna fully end it. Why even start in the Spade arc? It wouldn't make sense because. Well, they're also hyping up the animation. It looks so good. Also, Rex, why do you think Ziggy is Shiki? I think just like the idea, if you have like a crazy time travel way of like maybe Shiki fell into dark gravity or something crazy and then went back in time to set something up. It doesn't, like, I don't think that's concrete. Like, that's for sure a theory. I think that's just one of those wild theories that's like, maybe just because like time travel is an aspect to it, and we know that there's a lot of mysteries behind Ziggy and Shiki. Like, it's on the back burner. It's something that I just wanted to put out there because I think it has the possibility for it, but I don't think it for sure it's going to happen. Did you guys like Berserk Asta today? Absolutely, man. I thought it was great. Still, like, that backslash when he pulled out the Demon Dweller sword, and you saw just from behind this as he whipped his sword around and sent, like, a black slash at Dante. I thought that was the best scene of the episode. Just because it was so sharp in that moment. I love that. I thought that was great. Also, just because I looked over and saw the comment. What's up, Jialu Shiha Shmoodle's cousin? How are you today? How long do you think it will come back? Big Zim saying early 2022. My guess is, like, late this year, early 2022. At the very least, I think we'll get an announcement at the end of the year of, like, Black Clover coming back. Because if they just take, like, if they take a year off, I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly okay if they take 6 months off. I'm very happy, though, about the idea of the animators getting a break. Because weekly animators get way overworked from what I can tell. And, like, it's always nice to get episodes like this, but at the same time, I don't want them to work themselves to death. I want them to be treated fairly and to have the time and health to do this while not breaking themselves for the process. Mid-2022. Yeah, I'm thinking, like, just, like, maybe, like, a straight year. I would guess somewhere between 6 months to a year. Like, 6 months minimum, a year probably as, like, a solid time to kind of gauge at. Anything beyond a year would feel weird to me. I don't know. I've not been to a stream for a long time. It's cool to be back. Oh, it's always good to, you know, see people here. Zach God, how are you doing today, man? What are your thoughts on the new Eden Zero chapter? I liked it. I liked it a lot. I obviously, like, I'm happy to see, you know, where this is going with, you know, with the stuff with Hermit and Wise. I think theirs is a very nice ship that Mishima is setting up. But I am, like, I just finished my recording of it, and I'm uploading it right now because I really wanted to get the recording of my chapter done before I got to the stream, because I don't know how long I'm going to stream for, but at the same time, I wanted to spend the time at least having it going. And the big thing I will say about the chapter that I'm worried about is Muller getting away. I don't want that to happen. Now, I don't think he's dead. He just got punched. I'm worried he's going to get away. Who is the strongest new gen main character? I think it's Shinra, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's Shinra. It's either Shinra or Denji, actually. Oh, no, because Denji can't achieve that Super Chainsaw Man form at will. 58 people in the chat. I think this is the most people I've had in one of my streams before, to be perfectly honest. Like, usually, like, 30s are just doing well for me. So I'm happy to see people here, especially if there's people here who, you know, haven't been to my stream before. Really appreciate it. I generally do streams on Saturdays. I might do a second stream day, depending on just, like, how well... Like, if I can get some more consistent streams, or if I just keep, like, a one-set stream. But at the same time, you know, it would depend more on my schedule. So, I didn't plan initially on doing the stream until randomly this morning. Because I thought about streaming yesterday, but I was like, I don't really want to. I had some stuff to do. And by the time I got around to it, I was like, oh, I'll just stream in the morning. Because when I watched the episode this morning, I was really hyped. And then, obviously, finding out about the stuff with the anime, I was hyped and confused. So I figured, you know what, I'm just going to talk about it in the stream. Do you think Selene will actually destroy Elentier by the end of the arc? I think it's a high possibility she's going to destroy the Elentier. She might have, like, some of this, like, if I can't have it, nobody can thing, and nuke the place. I'm going to put out a video tomorrow on one of the things I think has to happen in order to beat Selene. I don't want to go too much into it, but yes. Just watched Black Clover, and I love it. Yeah, dude, the episode was super intense. Let's see. What do you think is next? What do you think is next for Black Clover? I kind of want them to stop Morris and then maybe halt the gate. Like, maybe they just get one gate open and then something happens where they have to stop, or even like another gate or so. But I kind of want them not to get too far into the gates, and then for some reason they have to halt, and we can see characters going around just kind of like going against all these like escape doubles and stuff, and just seeing like characters doing their best to fight against, like, what's going on now, like, let loose in their world. That's a big thing that I think is a component of this, not just in the idea of, oh, well, they have, you know, like, devils running around, but it's like, there's devils running around in your world. It's not just like, okay, they're out. It's like, oh, they are out. Like, they are gonna go around causing havoc and destruction. Because one of the other things that I really want to happen, and I'm kind of hoping it happens when Asta shows up with these devils, the two high-class devils, is I'm hoping he beats whichever one, in, like, assuming the theory that people have that one of them is, I think, Nama, that he's the one that threw Libby into, like, at the gate and accidentally, like, sent him through. I'm hoping, like, assuming that's the one, I believe that Asta and Libby will, defeat him, and then maybe the other one, Lilith, will escape and get somewhere out in the world. I really want at least one devil to get away, one big devil to get away from everything by the end of this. Like, if they take down Lucifer, like, even if they took down Dark Triad, Lucifer, like, all of them, I'm hoping one devil gets away. And you lead that into whatever comes next. A devil is loose into the world, unchecked, nobody knows where it is, nobody knows what it's up to. Regardless of what else happens to every other villain right now set. Morris, Dark Triad, the other devils, Lucifero even. If one of them gets away, I will be very happy. Just from the fact that alone could lead into, like, that could be like, hey, we have to go venture around the world now to find where this devil is, to stop it, or do something like that, and you could see other parts out in the world. That actually would be really cool. Could you imagine if a couple of the devils escaped, and it's like, we have to explore the world and hunt these devils down? That'd be super sick, now that I think about it. That'd be a perfect way to lead into, like, a world exploration arc. I might make a theory on that, to be perfectly honest, because I really like that idea. I haven't made a lot of Black Clover theories lately, and I really want to get back to it. Like, that's one of the things I know I've been slacking on with my content. I've been trying to set more towards my some of, like, my character videos, and I spent a lot of time trying to figure out my format, and that was, like, one of the big things for me for a while. But I have that down. I have to get back to them, because I did the first one, and I have a couple more set up that I want to do. But I've been trying to get back into swinging things, and one of the first things I want to do was, like, consistently get my videos out at a more rapid time of when they initially come out, because, like, sometimes I'll miss, like, a chapter, and then, like, I'll have to put out, like, a day later than I planned, and that messes with whatever plans I had that day. So I'm just trying to right now get stuff back on track, and then I'm going to get back to doing some more theories, and then after that point we'll probably get back to some more character stuff. But I actually really do like that theory for Black Clover, not gonna lie. Dante is no Pain. I mean, he doesn't have the same role as Pain. Like, Pain was supposed to be this massive, whelming villain that appears and doesn't seem like he's going to be stopped, and he's just going to crush everybody. Dante can build up into that, but we know that for like, Black Clover, that's supposed to be Lucifero. Like, Lucifero is in that same kind of area, because we had the guy who, at least we thought, was, like, the head of the Akatsuki versus, like, Dante, though he is... Oh, I'm getting a call from Josuke. I'm streaming right now, so I don't really know what to do. I'll have to message him in a minute, but let me catch up on the chat, and then I'll see what he wants. Because I didn't expect him to do a stream, but it makes sense why you'd want to do a stream after the chapter in the news. But at the same time, like, I'm doing a stream here, so I can't ditch you guys just for that. Well, maybe we'll see if there's, like, a follow-up stuff going on with that. Let's see. Shiki and Asta are the strong new gen. I'm pretty sure it's Shinra, because Shinra's, like, throwing around, like, super fast, high power, high velocity kicks and attacks. Like, he's going, like, big energy into stuff. And he hasn't even, like, they're in Endgame too, which was one of the big things, obviously, with Fire Force versus, like, Black Clover and these other ones. Let me just message him real quick and say, like, I'm just gonna ask him real quick, like, are you planning to do a stream? I'd say I'm streaming right now. Okay, I just wanted to tell him, so I don't ignore him. I don't want that. I don't like ignoring people. I don't want. It's not even like I don't like ignoring people. I don't want people to think I'm ignoring them if I'm not. Like, if I was ignoring somebody, then it's just like, yeah, suffer in my pretending you're not there. But if I'm not ignoring them, I don't want that. I don't want that thought to cross my mind. Do you think who do you think will win, Ziggy or Zeref? The thing about Ziggy is going to be hacks too, and he's going to be really powerful, but Zeref has so many hacks on top of being immortal, and he's so dangerous, like, in general. Like, I really am hoping at some point we get a flashback and see Zeref unhinged. Like, Zeref completely unchecked, no point in, like, him playing or Zeref's, like, nicer side coming into play. Like, I want to see Zeref just full big dick flexing on somebody to the utmost of his abilities. Like, just making, like, just literally waving his hands, spawning demons. Like, just Nemesis like no other. Like, a million times stronger than what Hades did. dropping hacks all over the place and just being a monster, pretty much. Looks like the Black Clover anime is stopping for now. It's for the best. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with them having a break, because, like I said, the weeklies especially, they can get overworked and they can definitely run into some tired hours. Let me catch up and see. Maybe I'm wondering if maybe he wants to like join in the stream, or if he's planning his own stream. Because I mean, if he wants to join in, I'll just bring him in here. I'm happy that their announcement, Yoshiharu release at the end, it shows that there's a plan. Yeah, that's also one of the things. The fact that they have an announcement already set, it'll probably be like credit scene and then like a scene going into like whatever's next, and then it'll be like Black Clover will be back, and then like undefined date kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, like, why would they have an announcement at the end of it if they were gonna end it? Do you think Happy could keep his monster transformation? I'm kind of hoping so, to be perfectly honest. Or maybe some way that Wendy could enchant Happy and Carla so they can have those forms, like anytime that she's around them. That'd be really cool, like if she ended up kind of utilizing the knowledge while in this form to improve her own magic, but also make them more dangerous. Rex, do you think about the potential announcing a Black Clover prequel? I don't know about that. That's the weird thing. It's like a movie, if it's a prequel movie, sure, because like if it's a movie with the main cast, I don't know how it would really work, is the thing. Because if they do a movie, I want it to be canon. I like it when movies are canon, because it makes them more valuable to talk about and to watch, rather than just like a big flashy movie which doesn't have anything that you really need to pay attention to outside the movie. Because I like connecting points from extra material into the main story. I always enjoy stuff like that. It's one of the things I really like that Mishima does when he partakes in the anime only arcs as well as both movies, and he makes it so they fit into the story, so watching them isn't the same as just a spectacle or extra content. It's important, and he improves on stuff with them. Like if you watch like the Eclipse Spirit arc, it improves a lot on like the relationship that Lucy has with her spirit, so leading into Tartarus makes it a good chunk more painful. The episode was amazing. Props to Yoshiharu. Yeah, Yoshiharu is great, man. He does a lot of really good work for the Black Clover anime, and I know the community is very appreciative of him. That's one of the things I really like about like the Black Clover anime community, is they know that they're trying their hardest, and it's one of those things that I've seen people really unite under. If people are mean to like the animation team, that especially for like Black Clover, they target. There's like no mercy at that point. Like they dogpile people, and then when you look at other fandoms, like when you see when you see like My Hero does it on a regular basis when the animes come out. Obviously not all of them, but they have their own toxic fandom side, as well as with what's been going on recently with Attack on Titan. It makes you much more appreciative of what's been going on with Black Clover and see how they react instead. Can't wait to see Elf Vito go to Crazy Man. He needs to show up and do something. I really want to know what the plan is with the elf characters in this arc, because like Veto and Fauna are a little bit more odd because they're younger. We don't know how really their magic is really going to play out in full, versus like the bigger characters now, because they have to close a big gap if they're going to stand like the same kind of like level of force that their presence had, but like during the Elf Resurrection arc, because obviously characters are way more powerful now, and they could be stronger because it's been months. So like the plan there, I'm curious for. It's very easily done. Raya though is broken just in general, so I don't have to worry too much about him. I don't have to worry too much about, like, oh, is he going to be able to catch up? It's like, yeah, I mean, like, even if he's not as outright powerful, he's got such good magic combinations that, I mean, like I said, I don't have to worry about what he does. Like, he like, just like, for example, he busts out, what is it, Myriad Black, and then the light swords. He just starts spamming those. Like, he's ridiculous. Rack supports my little hybrid video, yes, sir. It's definitely something that could work, Sinbad, is what I'm saying. I don't know how much it's credit to it, but I mean, it's something that could work. At least we now at least it will allow Bleach Thousand Blood War arc to go on, and their animation. Yeah, that's good too. I am hyped for that. Has there been a date for it for this year? As far as I know, there hasn't been an exact date for the Bleach anime. I like coming back. I don't know if there's been like a set time. I remember them. It was last year, and then they pushed it to this year. But I don't know what the update of that is currently. Wouldn't mind Black Clover getting a movie to end the series. Way later, though. I mean, sure. Dark Tide and that are the Knights of Cerberus, the characters that changed the tone of the series. Is that what is that what that trope is called? I know, like, there are some, like, the Dragon, the Blood Knight, the Big Bad and stuff. I don't know all of them. What's up, Brax? Can't stay long because I'm going to chat with my friends, but I'm going to leave a like. Oh, thanks. I really appreciate it, man. Why did Fairy Tail always change into different animations? Well, so that's because of, I think, generally just, like, updating animation as time went by. I really like the 2014 animation style because you had like the Grand Magic Games, you had the Eclipse Spirits, you had Tartarus going on. Oh, Josuke's asking me how long I'm gonna stream. I'll probably go for like another half hour or so, just because if he wants to stream too, then you know, I don't want to bogart all the time. Like I mentioned before, I don't like to stream when other people are streaming. If it happens, I'm not doing it intentionally. But just because, like, it ends up mixing the streams, and then, like, some people will end up going to one side or the other, and I think that just can lead to, you know, like, either hurting one stream or drowning another, kind of thing. Hey, Rex, what's your favorite BC character? Oh, my favorite is Zora. We haven't gotten Zora for so long, though. I haven't been able to talk about him, like, at all for, well, like, it's like the time skip happened 40-something chapters ago. And even before that, Zora hadn't done anything really, like, important since he went and helped Nozel and Noelle. So I don't remember the exact chapter number of that, but that had to be, like, in, like, what, like, the 180s, 190s? Outside of that, like, it's just the hype of, like, okay, what is he going to do when he comes back? I haven't got to talk about Zora in forever. I've mostly been talking about Radies, because I also really like Radies. Dawson usually using memory manipulation on Yuta. Very possible. I'm curious to know what the exact explanation of how this power works. The anime will stop either after Yami. I think it'll be right when Noct sets up the training. I won't go too much into it because I don't know how many people are anime onlys in the here. But I think when Noct shows up and stuff with Noct, I won't go into details. I think the anime will stop either. Oh, I just read that. Who would win between Shura? Wait, how will the battle between Shura and Shiki go? I think Shura would definitely win now, but he is who I believe Shiki's big opponent is going to be this arc. I think it's going to be Ziggy versus Nero, not Shiki versus Nero. So otherwise, it would have to be all of the Eden Zero versus Nero, just because we know like how much more powerful one of the Galactica is unrestrained against him, because they only beat Drac and Joe because he was nerfed. They destroyed his machine, and he wasn't as powerful because of it. Like, he was just so old, and his body was unstable. How would they start the arc and give it a badass opening just to cancel a few weeks later? I mean, the episode came out on, what, 158? That's 12 episodes of this opening. So, I mean, that's pretty normal for Black Clover, to be perfectly honest, of sticking with an opening. Like, Black Clover has a very similar thing. Again, like, the weird thing is, like, there is a good number of similarities between Fairy Tail and Black Clover, but also their anime goes through openings and endings at the same rate, because One Piece has, what, freaking, how many episodes is One Piece? Like, 800 and something? And they're only, like, opening 24? And then altogether, Fairy Tail anime doesn't even have half that of episode count, but they have 26 openings, and that's not even counting the OVA openings, the movie opening. Like, for some reason, the Fairy Tail series and Black Clover, as well as Bleach, like, they go through anime openings like freaking, like, just chips. They're just shredding through these things. You know, like Pringles, they're just, well, I don't really eat Pringles. What's like a good chip that I can destroy? Some freaking ride chips or some salt and vinegars or something? Either way, you know what I mean? Like, there's snack food to them. They're running through it. They're not like, okay, let's let this last the whole year. They're like, okay, we'll get into this, and then, you know, in a couple weeks we'll prepare another one, get that out, and then just keep going. It's the really weird thing about their studios that I'm very curious of what the different reasons for that is. Like, why exactly what in their minds is like set to like, okay, we want to have a shit ton of openings all over the place. And then at the same time, I'm so curious when it comes down to some anime groups, like the people anime. Why don't they use certain scenes from the openings in the episode, because it's one of the weirdest things. One of the weirdest things in an anime, and I know a lot of people can agree with me on this, is when you have a scene, like a certain scene, shown in the opening, that when you get to it in the anime, it doesn't look as good. Super weird. I don't understand the logic behind that. Like, if you got to, like, the anime episode, and it's like, all right, we're airing it tomorrow, and then you watched a certain scene where it's like, how does this look less quality than the 5 seconds version in the opening? Just take that and put it in the episode. I don't know. I remember, I don't know if they updated in maybe the Blu-ray or something, but there's a scene in the last Fairy Tail opening 26, where it's like when Acnologia puts up the 1 to say that he's the most powerful, and in the anime, like, he looks really cool in the opening, but in the anime, his face is really, like, weird. It's, like, drooped, and it just looks ugly, and I was super mad about that when it came out. I don't know if maybe they corrected it. It's one of those things that they just kind of intentionally made look gross, or maybe they just didn't care about that scene, and we're trying to get to the end. I don't know exactly what's up. Either way, I was just like, why don't they just use that scene from the opening or something? It's weird to me. It's really weird to me. Yoshiharu is greatness. Yoshihara is a gem. We can all appreciate him, 100%. So much clickbait about... oh, yeah, the clickbait about the episode is going to be ridiculous. Rex, do you think Xiao Mei is one of the... That's actually a really good idea. If Xiao Mei is one of the Heavenly Knights... The Heavenly Knights are such a mystery because we have almost no lore on them. Xenolith being one of them is really interesting, but like outside of that, I don't think we've gotten anything. We didn't even see all 12 of their statues. Like it's such a in the back thing for Mishima that he just decided to lay out super early. But I mean, it's clearly using it. If they announce a Black Clover movie, do you think it should be about? I don't really know, because like a Black Clover, like the only thing I can think of is like young Yami. Do young Yami. Show Yami when he was like up and coming, because Yami is a character that you don't like. You can focus on Yami, and no Black Clover fan is gonna complain that Austin, aren't in the movie. If we get a canon movie about Yami, maybe like him as a right before he becomes captain, or maybe like right when he first becomes captain, and like maybe his first mission officially as as Captain Yami of the Black Bulls or something like that. Rax, thank you for keeping me entertained in this quarantine. Well, I'm always happy to keep people entertained. It's always a nice thing. And just again, we got 71 people in here. Again, this is the most I've had in a stream. Appreciate it. I think 75 was the peak so far. Really appreciate everyone for showing up. I'd really appreciate if you would thumbs up the stream, befriend that like button, friend the thumbs up video, subscribe if you haven't. And as I've always mentioned, any donations are appreciated. They aren't required. But back to the comments, because I want to get to the, regardless if I end up maybe like if I ended at the half hour, because I'm pretty sure Josuke wants to stream, and we get in that, we'll have some nice conversations, so see what J Cloud and maybe Quan and Faith and all them are up to. But I want to at least get to all the comments before I end the stream, for sure. What's up, Sam Jace? How are you doing today? I'm really building serious doubts. I love Sarah being a Dragon Slayer. Let go of first gen. Too many things don't add up. So the thing about first gen, I will just say really quick, I read in July, is first gen I don't think necessarily has to be taught by a dragon. I think first gen is specifically you learn it, because each Dragon Slayer generation has a different method of acquiring it. First gen, you learn it. Second gen, you have a Dragon Slayer Lacrima implant in your body. Third gen is different, because third gen is a combination of 1 and 2. But fourth gen, we need an explanation on fourth gen, because I think fourth gen is just kind of like the idea of like how the Lacrima in second gen is, an inanimate object, but the difference is the second gen, it's implanted in your body, whereas I think fourth gen exists outside your body. It is the inanimate object itself. Like, I would believe that if Urza's sword, like Urza wielding her Dragon Slayer sword Belsarion, I believe would technically at that time make her a fourth gen. That's just a, the hiccup. That's just a guess. Like, obviously, there's no outright explanation of what makes something a fourth gen. And then obviously, fifth gen, they eat dragon slaying, or they eat dragon meat, and that evolves their body, changes their DNA at a different style than the previous styles of dragon slaying magic. Because that would make sense also of why fourth gen, if they didn't want to get motion sick too, because the Quantum Knights absolutely would not suffer motion sickness. They're machines. And then if say wielding the sword technically makes you a Dragon Slayer, but it's like the 4th gen is the sword, not technically the wielder, then it would be like, okay, well, they're not going to suffer, motion slayer, or motion sickness, unless it's like, you transform, well, because of the sword, and maybe it's like channeling into your body differently. You know, it's a bit of a mystery just in that. But I think LF Sarah is a 1st gen, but I do think he's very suspicious because his character just has a lot of very odd aspects to him. And I think Diablos existing, well, Diablos so far hasn't done anything outright evil, but they're displayed as villains. And I think that one of the reasons that Mishima put them in there is to draw people's attention away from LF Seria. Because one of the things about them that's really interesting is their base is put in a very spooky manner. It's like in the dark, you have these like skull lanterns and this big monstrous skeleton on top of their base. Whereas the exact opposite for Magia Dragon. You have this majestic looking dragon sculpture on top of it. You have all these ether nano like concentrated particles of light falling around it. It's done in a much more like good guy. It's like done in a good guy versus light guy style, like good versus evil, and just kind of the visual depiction of it. Whereas LF Sari, I think, is way more suspicious than any of the Dragon Eaters. Because the Dragon Eaters haven't done anything really bad yet in terms of like making them outright evil. Because the Dragon Gods have pasts and aspects to them that would make sense why someone would believe they're evil. Because the only one that turned against like that pretty much idea of them was Mercephobia. Whereas Natsu and the team are getting in their way of stopping these guys. And we don't know if it's like as outright righteous as like we're stopping these dudes, or if it's like, oh, we can take them down, who cares, because they're dangerous and people view them as pretty much worldly threats. So I don't know, like they could easily be just revealed that they are outright evil, but I do think that Mishima is doing something with them intentionally by having them kind of laid out to seem a little bit too set as the bad guys, while Ella Saria is very suspicious on just being, a quote-unquote good guy. Let's see, would you rather see Heroes get an animation or continuation? Oh, I'd rather get a continuation than seeing an animated, 100%. It'd be cool to see an animated, but I would rather see a part 2, because I want to see other main characters in there. I want to see Aki, man. Like, he just needs to be in there. The winter one, Fuyuki, would be really weird because he was only in a one-shot. But at least Aki had Monster Soul, and that was 2 volumes. Fall 2022, that would be way too long, Biggie. That would feel like an eternity. Over a year and a half? Like, I don't want that at all. That would bother the hell out of me to wait that long. Like, a year is already painful in the idea of having to wait a year to see more of it. But a year and a half, like, man. How am I doing? Oh, I'm doing good. Xiao says that the episode was fire. Absolutely was, man. 100%. 100% it was fire. But do you guys think Sylpha's going to have a different personality now that Sisters erased her memory? I don't think so. I think she's still going to be like who she is and keep the little robot nullifier on there. As she just kind of comes out pretty normal, I mean, that's not a problem. But I feel like if she eventually conquers her trauma and then, becomes... is able to control her emotions, I think that would be a lot more satisfying for her character. But at the same time, I'd be okay with it doing that, but I think it'd be more like it'd make her character a lot more likable, and that it would be way more of a development for her rather than a quick fix. Oh, Kanmano, I'm guessing. Yep, Kanmano for the $20 super chat. And still waiting the Atlas one vid. Don't worry on that. But still, I haven't forgotten about that. Message me. Oh, actually, really quick, because I got so many people here. I'll post the link, because I keep forgetting to do that, and because I remember this time I will shout out obviously other Black Clover YouTubers before I end the stream for sure, because that was one of the things I always forget that I don't do in videos, is I don't give them a proper shout out, because I gotta rep the community. But yeah, it's still waiting on the Atlas Flame video. Don't worry about that. I've still got it planned. I'm probably gonna put that a little bit closer. Like maybe I'll do that one after Lexus, just because your request, you've paid to request it, and it's you just busted a nut. Gotta let the audio go by. And it's one I've already agreed to do. I might do that. Like Atlas Flame is gonna be a cool one, because I do like Atlas Flame. I think he's got a really cool position in the story, and then his original show up in the arc of the Grand Magic Games was really cool, and there's some aspects to that that I really definitely want to talk about that that I think are way more interesting in hindsight. Because like when the arc initially came out, we didn't know about the details of what happened between humans and dragons, like into full and stuff about Igneel and whatnot. We didn't know the full scale of it. We know way more now, so I think it would be way cooler to talk about now versus like if I was doing it when the Grand Magic Games was first showing up. So I won't get that. Don't worry. I hope everything's okay, and should let my boy Iron Nancy school you on how to not be a third-rate YouTuber with fourth-rate videos. Iron Nancy and I eventually are going to have a stream where he has to try to explain to me how Beer Jane would possibly could beat Gray, because there's absolutely no way it would happen, but he seems to let it happen. He seems to think it's going to happen. But yeah, don't worry, man. I absolutely am going to get to that video. I haven't forgotten about it. I actually was just the other day rewatching the Grand Magic Games episodes, and I was thinking about like what I want to talk about for that video when I was watching the episode, so that was fun. So don't worry. Also, I'm gonna post it real quick in the chat. This is the link to my Discord. This is for the channel. I did end up starting a Discord for my YouTube channel. I haven't advertised it enough. I want to do like a video for it, and I just because you know we're doing it right now. I won't go too much into detail, but I kind of want to make it like a shitty car commercial, kind of like, you know, if you see some really bad advertisement for some dealership and they make it overly goofy and funny. I kind of want to do that for like a hey, join my Discord video. Because for the most part, I see people doing like the normal, like, hey, come join my Discord, come chat with me. Like much more friendly and normal. I kind of want to make it weird, but not too weird, but more in the set of like, you'd watch it and you'd be like, all right, it could be kind of fun. I'm still getting it set up. Like, I want to add some bots and stuff to it. I still got like, I got like 80 something emoji spots to add to it. And it's still really fresh. Like, I only made a couple weeks ago, and I haven't done a ton of you know, getting people in there and just generally building on it. But I have been working on it slowly over time. But anyway, let me get to some more of the comments. Okay, did I answer that? Or at least have a year off. Yeah, a year to me is pretty much what I'm expecting. Somewhere between like 6 to 7 months to a year is my guess. Chrismo, as I almost skipped over saying your name. I meant to kind of have it at the end, like I was addressing you, but it makes me mad. I should just start saying it at the start. Fall of 2020. Biggie, you know, I don't know, like if we give it a year, we could, you know, we're like, assuming they end like in the like 260s to 270s, and that's 2 months from now, so we're gonna get at least 8 more chapters into the manga, so we'll be somewhere around like 288. That's still like plus a year. We'll have we'll have a good 50 plus chapters. Like, it could be a little more than a year, but a year and a half would be rough. I don't know, like, I'm not against it fully, but I don't want it to be that much. Like, that's a long time. Yeah, don't worry, kid. I am planning to try and convince Iron Nancy to do that video. Because I can't let the Gray slander go unchecked for too long. Obviously, if they take a break, it will let the manga progress. Yeah, that's one of the things too. But also, like, I want the animation team to do really well. I want them to perform well, and I want them obviously to do it while healthy. It's longer than 2 years. It can't be longer. There's no way it could be longer than 2 years. That would be painfully long. Also, just about people harassing BC animators. I haven't seen anyone do it, but I have seen comments from like some YouTubers like commenting on like, not going after them, but like saying like, oh yeah, these guys are probably just lazy, they're slacking, you know, they're just cutting corners or something. It's like, no, they're trying to put out the product in time. And the thing about Black Clover's anime they've been consistently doing is some of the episodes they spend a little bit less time on some of like the smaller scenes, because they're building onto bigger, like the stuff that people really have their hopes up in the anime. That's the thing that they got to look at. Because it's like, Yuno's fight with Godoroy's wasn't, like, it would have been cool to have that kind of, like, really well animated just because it was, you know, give Yuno some love. But it's not like anybody went into it expecting it to be some glorious fight. I can guarantee that anybody who would say, what are you hyped to see animated most? It's going to be the fight with Dante. Like, that was the big, primary focused battle of the first, like, the opening act of the Spade War. So that's what people are going to primarily want. Oh, what's up, Telahim? How are you today? Good to see you too, man. Don't forget to like the stream. Always appreciate it. Always appreciate it, man. Thank you, Co-Spirit. Knows gonna use the poison power of this Mercury. I'm really curious to know how, like, Nozel's magic could evolve. I mean, he doesn't really need to, in terms of, like, if it doesn't need to have an extra effect, but, like, how his general magic will get more powerful. Maybe just, like, way more Mercury. Maybe have, like, a massive wall of just Mercury behind him. Like he's carrying, like, a lake of molten... Well, Mercury is liquid already, but just Mercury. Just way more. Doing way more with it. Bigger numbers, bigger hits, way more fast, precise moves. Because he's control type, so you could have him doing multiple things all at once while setting up somebody into an attack. We've seen him do it with, like, the amount of Mercury he usually has, but like to a higher degree, and just way more actions at once. Like, maybe he could be making, like, Mercury cannons on one area. He's got blades over here. He's got shields moving somebody into a spot. He's got, like, one area that has, like, maybe it's like, actually, like, just Mercury mist that he's trying, you know, it's like a trap to lure you into to try and poison you or something. Xenolith versus Rack and Geo? Xenolith. I mean, come on. Rack streams are chill. I wouldn't be having 3 a week. I mean, you wouldn't be having 3 like my streams. 54 viewers. Let's get to 54 likes. We got 55 likes. Thank you very much there, Gene. I always appreciate it. All for One is coming back. I mean, yeah, he's ready to go back crazy too. Do you think that there will be a triple threat battle between the gravity users? I think it's going to be Shiki versus Shura, Nero versus Ziggy. And I think we're going to have kind of like a, you know, quote unquote tag match with Ziggy versus Ziggy and Shiki versus Nero and Shura, because you have Shiki and Ziggy still, like, he considers his grandfather, whereas with you know, Nero and Shura, like, that's like father and son, so it would make sense of why they would be fighting on the same side and fighting side by side. It's not like they're just two bad guys that might, like, team up together. It's like, no, they're already on the same team, and one they're already blood related, so it's not like a crazy thing on top of everything else to consider going into this arc, you know? It's just one of those things that we could much more easily see set up and executed without requiring there to be a lot of, like, other aspects to it. Like, we know what they're going to be capable of. We know how they're going to do it. It just needs to have the scene of the Shiki and Ziggy stuff kind of, like, continued. You think Xenolith is going to join the Easter crew? I don't think so. That'd be too unfair. If he joined, they would have a top tier just, like, walking around their ship already. Do you think the huge announcement in the tweet? It's a good sign. Yes, Jake, but I think it's by the end of episode 170, we're gonna get a note of, like, Black Clover will be back, and then, like, they won't give it an indefinite time, or they'll say, like, late 2021, sometime next year or something. Think that Dark Triad will get back? Sir, I hope so. I want Dante. Like, I'm fine if, you know, we leave Xenon. Like, if Xenon and Vonica, I'm hoping for some, but I'm hoping we get, like, a good, solid backstory from Dante. Because Dante could easily go into Vonica and Xenon's backstory that gives them more material, but also improves upon his. But their theory is Noah's behind Ziggy's virus. I hope not. I don't want more Noah. I don't really like him very much. Like, I'm fine if he comes back and does some more nefarious things, but, like, I don't know, I just don't find, like, he's not, like, a very threatening bad guy, but he just kind of comes, like, every time we see him, he just comes off as kind of like a jerk. I'm like, man, come on. Maybe you should put in some more work. Not going to stop me from speculating about it. Oh, yeah, go ahead, man, of course. Do you think Asta is a devil? The whole aspect of Asta and what he is a bit of a mystery, because we've seen that all of the Dark Triad have an extra set of horns, and so does Asta. So, what does that really mean for, just, like, for these 4-horned people? What does it, like, kind of equate to? Like, is it them slowly becoming a devil? Like, is there a certain way that if you do the devil power, because it's not the same as a union, but you just do the general devil power, does it slowly transform your body to also be a devil kind of thing? Like, because it would make sense, because we've seen Asta, there's seen scenes where Asta's, even if he's not in his black form, he's got the fang and he's got the eye, the same as in the form. Like, we've seen a couple scenes where he does have that, so it would make sense of why he'd be, like, kind of transforming slowly. You know, it would make sense of the extra set of horns. Yeah, the Xenolith can't be in that. Like, I don't think he should join the Eden Zero crew, Javaldo. I think that'd be too much. If Yami dies, what will happen to Black Bulls? I mean, Asta would probably eventually take over. I think Xenons are stronger, but we've barely seen anything. Yeah, but the 12 Knights are like their legendary class of people within the world. Like, as far as we know, those are the strongest characters outside of Ziggy, Mother, Colonel Phage, kind of stuff. I think since they're strong, we barely... Oh, I see that one. Stop through. What's up, Mercenary? How are you? Let's be real. We know that all 7 gates are going to open. I'm hoping that we get through most of them. Like, my big hope is we get through most of them. We don't get to Lucifaro during the Spade War. But it's like some of the devils escape, and they have to find them in like wherever they are, or like the devils escape, and they're trying to figure out how to let out Lucifaro in a different way. Because it would make it so like we could still keep Lucifaro for later, but it would still, but at the same time it wouldn't be like a repeat of the arc, but it'd be like, oh, we can't open the tree that manner. But maybe there's another way somewhere out in the world, and they, go on some devil quest to figure out, like, maybe some ancient artifacts or relics that, like, maybe there's an old gate somewhere in the world, no, like, only a devil or some ancient being would be aware of. Some lost city of ruin, like, underground. You know what I mean? Of just, there's no way the Dark Triad would know. And maybe the devils don't even know. Maybe it could be something left by the gods or something that they would have to locate. That this would be like, because that would be really cool too. Would be like even Lucifaro doesn't know, because that would make sense of why they couldn't find it. But at the same time, you could do an arc trying to locate it, trying to find whatever clues they need to figure out where it is. Let's see. Lucifaro and the other two Dark Tri-Devils are hyped too much not to be released. I think Megicula and Xenon's Devil will be let out, but I don't think Lucifaro will. But we'll see. I think Morris will try this work. I hope so. I think he's really interesting. Rax, you've seen Xenon... Gravity Center calc being large final. So no, it can't be. So the Forestra is not that big. It's like 13 kilometers across. It's not that big. I've done the scaling of it. I've posted on Twitter. It's a pretty small planet. And that's one of the things that I've said about like Eden Zero feats. People have to look at finding the size of these planets because they're not all planet sized. We've seen consistently that the planets in the series have fluctuated in size drastically, like very, very wildly. Like look at Xiao Mei's planet, and then that like desert planet that Amira was on. Those were tiny. Just guys need to Yuta will interact with Yuji Panda, and I think that that whole group is gonna have to step in to say to stop Yuta, because Yuta is so powerful. Like we know how powerfully he ranks compared to these other characters, that it would be so difficult for them to get otherwise get in his way, because like Toto like has a high potential. We know that he's one of the hyped up like up and comers, but like he as of now shouldn't stand a chance against Yuta at all. We know that that's not going to stop him from like trying to get in his way if Yuta tries to go after. Well, we know he is going to go after Yuji, but they're either going to have to all team up, but at the same time, I don't think that's going to work. Or they have to try and reason with him. But I think that he doesn't have a full scope of the picture of what actually happened. I'm just going to say thank you for keeping me entertained this pandemic. Oh, you must have sent that like before I got your other comment. But yeah, I really appreciated Shujin. I appreciate you guys as well. Do you think Black Clover will go seasonal? And I kind of hope it does. I do hope it is. Morris is probably going to be the one to survive this arc. I'm fine with that too. If Morris escapes, because Morris, with the level of knowledge that Loro has, could equal up to like a potential level of threat as Lucifaro, because you have a super genius with like every secret in the world, like recorded in the the witch queen, Heart Queen's history in his brain. It gives her so much potential to do just nefariously dangerous things, because he can essentially like do absurd science aspects that otherwise wouldn't be possible with Black Clover. Because think about it, he can invent like magic weapons like nothing, and he, like if you like Black Clover doesn't have a lot of people that have multiple types of abilities to use. Like there are certain ways that they can use their magic in a way that isn't directly in their magic, like Dante using gravity to warp space. He doesn't have spatial magic, but gravity obviously can affect space if applied right. It'd be like if you manage, I don't know the science behind it, but if used wind to somehow make lightning, because I know that there's, however the process goes of how lightning works, if he figured out the scientific way to do that, he could do that. Or, anything in those kind of areas. So if Morris could, If Morris with that much knowledge left unchecked, I think could become that potential of a threat, but that's just because, like, again, the knowledge combined with his intelligence just can equal into who knows what. Whereas, like, Dante, or not Dante, Lucifaro, big, powerful devil, gravity powers, dangerous as hell, but I don't think he would have the full scope of the potential of what Morris, with the knowledge that like is at his hands now. And I'm really hoping he has brain magic. And like, one of the things is he just doesn't forget stuff. And then it'd be like he could go through everything which is another thing. If, like, imagine if none of the devils know, or like I said, like some ancient gate that could let him out. Imagine if he if Morris found out where that is through the Heart Queen's wisdom ability and figured out how to do all that. What kind of animal is Urza yokai form going to be? I'd have to look at some yokai, to be perfectly honest. I don't know all the yokai. As far as close to it, we know it's in the last arc, but I mean that could easily be like 100 chapters, 200 chapters, 50 chapters for all we know. Who knows? Let me get to some of these comments. I'm not that far from getting caught up, so let me get caught up before I end this, because I do want to join Josuke and join up with their stream and see what they're up to. You think Muller will return? I hope not, man. I hope they kill him off. I hope they end him before he gets a chance to escape. I really, really do. I think Marileona will fight a Kolfoth's tree demon. I hope so. I hope Marileona's just not going to only fight this big goofy-ass devil. Because this demon is just kind of like, he's just like the Quasimodo of the team. Or do you think that one of the Dragon Gods could be Ankh-Saram? I don't think it'll be Ankh-Saram, but I'm really hoping that we get Ankh-Saram after the Dragon Gods. Because he's the logical opponent to face beyond this. I think Seraph will train Natsu in Beta Heaven. I don't think so. Like, if Natsu trains, I think it's going to either be with Diablos or with Igneous somehow. What time is it where you are? Right now it's like 6 o'clock. Do you think Bleach will take BC's place while it's gone? I can easily see that happening, but... I mean, not the same animation group, but maybe, like, the overall same production, slot. Like, maybe they'll, be able to put more money, maybe take some of the members from the animation team, put them over there. I don't think it'll be all of them. Should I read Fairy Tail? You should! I just got, I got Lucifaro, not the Black Clover character, one of the people in Broku's server just started. He's almost finished the Alvarez arc, and he's really enjoyed it. And one of the things I definitely say, Black Clover, I think Black Clover fans will generally really like anything by Mishima, just like I think any people who like Mishima style content would like Black Clover, because they do have similar vibes to them, but at the same time they're very different in their own right. Like, the thing that I knew, that was the first sign I knew I would love Black Clover, was when I met the Black Bulls, because the way that the Black Bulls behave and the way that they, like, kind of interact with each other is very similar to how the Fairy Tail Guild is. They're very close, they're very rowdy, they're comfortable with each other, they have fun, but they always, and they fight a lot and stuff too, but they always, at the end of the day, they always have each other's back. At the end of the day, they're ride or die with their, with their direct comrades, with the people in their squad, in their guild, and anybody outside of that, even if they're, quote unquote a good guy, they turn their fangs against their group. Everybody in that cast, whether it's like the Fairy Tail Guild or the Black Bulls, and I assume the same thing, like, in Rave Master, you have, their whole crew. I always forget the Rave Master main character group. But then you also have the Eden Zero crew. Just because, like, I always just say that, the Rave Master. It's been a while since I read Rave Master. Was it the Blue Guardians? I don't remember exactly what they're called. I know Jason Kiefer's probably frustrated with me about that. I know what he's probably thinking if he's still here. But, you know what I mean? None of those groups. Like, you could have Nice Guy Magoo, known as Prophet of the World, like, pretty much Jesus. And, they turn against, any of these groups. They're not going to care. Because we know, for instance, the Black Bulls are ready to to go against the Kingdom to save Asta and Nero. We know that Natsu, like, is said, like, if the world decides to make an enemy of the guild, he'll burn the world down. Is that Natsu versus? Yeah, I didn't know what to make, and I just didn't want to have like a panel, so I put just Aetherius Natsu versus Berserk Asta, and then I have, if you look on that bottom right corner, there's beat up Deku looking like Gumby with his broken arms. Have you read Happy Sugar Life? I have not. I don't know what that's about. How much stronger do you think the magic stones made Lick when he transformed into a demon? I don't know. Maybe each one is like a multiplier, or like 10%. I don't really know how they all kind of like work individually. If we found out something like maybe each of them has like a 10% boost, that'd be, you know, something to work with. But obviously we don't know. Also most likely have ultimate magic by now. We know Patriot at least based on his words. I'm curious to know how many of them will actually get out with ultimate magic, because Noel I think should have it for sure, and then the other members of that team, I don't think all of them are gonna have it. But I do wonder who exactly is going to activate. I think Leo should have it, because Luck doesn't need it. Luck's already very powerful. Charmy's already very powerful. Charmy doesn't need it. Leo absolutely needs it. Noelle is very strong, but she needs something to cover the gap that, like, you know it's got Boreas now, and Asta has Devil Union coming up. Noelle needs something. Noelle is the one that I'm very curious about primarily, because Asta, obviously Arcane. We don't know if, like, go check out Quan's video. Oh, let me say that right now. This is a shout out to all the fellas in the Black Clover community that I interact with on a regular basis. You know, you got Josuke. Josuke, I'm gonna say first, because we need to get him to 1,000. His previous channel was actually at 1,000, but he was doing some videos for Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. And he got a bunch of bullshit copyright strikes, and they took the channel down. So he had to restart. He's just at 600 today. We want to get him back up to 1,000, get him monetized so he can get back to making some money off of his content. Very entertaining streams, very funny. Go check his videos out. That's if you want to look at his channel, it's just search out Black Clover versus everybody. He's got a lot of streams. I'm usually on the streams as well. If you haven't checked him out. Check out RTL Faith as well. He goes by the same name, Quan Credible. Jack Oates. Jack Oates' channel is pretty young. I think he's only about 100 subscribers. We need to get him pumped up too. Get him at 1,000. Broku and J Cloud are way bigger than me, but at the same time, go check them out. They both make very good Black Clover content. Way better than my Black Clover content. I mean, all these guys make better Black Clover content than I do. I've been slacking lately, especially. But go check them out, especially. Go give them a, go check out their channels. Give them a shout out. Maybe comment on their videos. So, Rex sent me your guys' channel or something. You won't be disappointed with their content. All by the same names. Like I said, Black Clover versus Everybody podcast. Quan Credible. RTL Faith. Jack Oates. That's Oates with a Z at the end. J Cloud. Broke No Hero. All those guys. Rex probably won't even get this part of the chat by 30 minutes. Oh no, I get behind a lot. I also miss Sora. 100%. Let me start like going through this at a faster rate, because I want to get caught up. Do you think Shiki will have dark gravity? I'm hoping not. Like, I'm very curious to know what Mishima's plans are with the whole dark gravity thing going on. Ziggy versus Nero would be great. I'm really hyped for that, because we know Ziggy doesn't seem to be in his prime, and I'd like to see him kind of like climbing back up the ranks. It'd be cool to see him already at Erasmus Galactica level. I think you fall into dark gravity. My guess is his overdrive, the whole like one we've seen, is more towards the dark gravity version, and the green one is maybe like true gravity. I don't really know, because it would explain why his ether grid changes colors and why the form looks different when he goes into it. But I mean, that could just be like an assumption or something. Who's Guild Arts? The Guild Arts of Black Clover. Who can go toe to toe? Wait, who is the Guild Arts of Black Clover / who can go toe to toe of Black Clover? I mean, the Guild Arts of Black Clover is Julius. But I mean, like, Julius versus Guild Arts. I mean, you would have to, if this was like an older Guild Arts, sure, but the current Guild Arts, like, Julius stands no chance. Even if you put Julius back in his prime, but like, Guild Arts isn't an idiot. You like, if Julius shot one of his Asian balls at him, Guild Arts is gonna dust that. He's gonna break that spell, and he's just gonna keep going at him. And the thing that Guild Arts is that is such a bad thing for Black Clover is Black Clover, we know battle mages are way rarer in Black Clover than there are in Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail, like, there's way more casters, but battle mages, it's probably like maybe like 1 in every 5 or 6 is maybe a battle mage in Fairy Tail. Whereas like in Black Clover, 1 in 10 is still being generous. Maybe 1 in 20. Because I'd have to go look. There's only like Randall, freaking Marileona, Veto. There's not a lot of battle mages in their series. So, anyways, you've seen, like, battle mages always have been so dangerous because casters are not, like, when you have a ranged caster and you get a battle mage up in their face, like, they are not used to that shit. Especially, like I said, in a series where they're not, like, generally there's not a lot of them. So not only are they, like, that's uncomfortable for their style, they don't have as much experience fighting battle mages. Whereas like someone like Guildarts, and same with Marileona, they're fighting casters all day. Like they know what to do. You hear the OST when Vonica appeared? Yeah, it was. It sounded real spooky too. I liked it. 900 episodes now. Yeah, One Piece has a ton of episodes. Black Bulls are disbanded. They could go to the Land of the Sun. Yeah, like a nice travel arc I think would be really needed. Around 550 One Piece. God damn. Do you think we'll get any more Black Clover OVAs? I'd like that too, actually. I'd really like a nice beach episode OVA. I think Eden Zero sad OST will sound like? Something with a theremin. Give me something with a theremin. What's going on? Nothing I enjoy watching. Enjoy watching it? That's what's going on. Oh, good. I'm glad you're here. Coming to hang out. Rax, do you think that would increase the BC manga sales? If it goes seasonal, and they can stick animation at this this level of quality, I guarantee you the sales will increase. High quality animation always increases sales. The OST that played when Berserk Asta fought Dante is amazing. Ooh, it was super hype, man. I love that scene. Opening got budget lob. That's fine. Jordan Myers, the anime. Oh, that's not me. I hope that their anime doesn't end early like Rave Master. As long as it does well, it won't end early. Like I'm sure, like Rave Master, though it did well. Like it still sold millions of copies. It wasn't nearly as popular as Fairy Tail, and I don't think it's going to be as popular as Eden Zero, because like Eden Zero is definitely in an era where there's like anime and manga are way more widespread, and we know as long like if you have a solid animation. Just from the start, it's automatically like a good boost because then people start talking about it. And one of the things Eden Zero I think is really gonna have over a lot of other anime is that it's a battle shonen themed in space, and you don't get a lot of that. Like most of the time, you get a space themed anime or like mech and sci-fi from Japan. It's like Gundam style, which obviously like Gundam is a huge franchise, but it's I don't know who voices Lucifer Mercenary. I'd have to look that up. It's way more interesting. When you have one that stands out like that, like nothing against Gundam, but I mean, you know what I mean? There's just one that it's like, oh, I really like sci-fi, but I'm like, maybe you're not a huge fan of like Gundam, and it's like, well, that's 99% of what sci-fi Japan is, and you get something like Eden Zero, I think it can be really refreshing. 100 Years Quest anime, do you think it'll be seasonal? I hope so. If it's not seasonal, I'll be mad. I'm telling you right now, because I will be fucking pissed if they do I don't want to say lazy job, a unfortunate and poor job on 100 Years Quest, because they have the knowledge now. Especially you do a hype seasonal, you have good animation and sales jump. They always do. You do a weekly with like chunky animation, sales will go up, but not by a lot. And then people like you get like annoying hype trains, whereas like slandering it is more popular and people being annoying. Whereas like if you have just hype animation, it spreads way faster. So what's going on with the anime? I think that it's quote unquote ending, but I think it's just going on hiatus. 73 people were hitting records. At 75 or 76, I think was the highest, maybe 77. Really appreciate everyone obviously for showing up. Always really. Oh my god, there's so many more comments than I thought there was. I'm gonna have to like power read through some of these. I don't know if you answered Rax or not. Oh yes, reader. You should. I would suggest reading Fairy Tail first and then watching the anime later, because I think the anime has a good chunk of censorship, but I think that the anime original stuff overall, improves on a watch if you've already read the manga. But also, I think there are a lot of anime scenes that I think that you'll appreciate more if you see how they improve it from the manga, especially like with the music and the voice acting and stuff. Some of them, especially, and some of them animation wise. Let me see. Not at me. Let me try and scroll fast. I don't like skipping comments, but there's so many things I gotta get to. What's up, Guillotine? Hope you're back from your hiatus. I had to banish him from the arena in my server because he was posting some crazy stuff. And let me tell Josuke something real quick. I'm saying excuse me, one of my cats summoned this guy. I'm in my stream in a few minutes. Way behind on the chat. I don't mean to get fired in the chat, but like anybody who's been in my streams, prior to this knows sometimes I go on tangents and then I get so far behind. Yeah, I had to banish Guillotine for a little bit from the arena. You know what? If it wasn't for some of the stuff he said, I wouldn't have felt bad. But it's like August wasn't saying he was country level in the concept of the stat. Like he was talking about the country of Fiores. You have to take the sides of the country into account. Anyway. Let me see. Do you think Ziggy will want Rebecca's Cat Leaper? I don't think so. I mean, there's always a possibility because it's a great ability, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, why would he want it? But it would be like, is every bad guy gonna want the power? Do you think Rebecca's one of the four knights of the heavenly descendant of four? I don't know. I keep saying four. Do you think Rebecca is a descendant of one of the heavenly knights? I kind of hope not. I kind of want Rebecca to just to be a some form of. Actually, I'm okay with that now that I think about it. But I kind of want her to be related to like a chronophage somehow. But maybe that'll be how it's connected. Is like maybe she ran like one of these characters ran into a chronophage. I don't know. There's a super chat from Ken Mano. Always appreciate it, like I said. And just before I get caught up, like I've always mentioned, always appreciate the donations. Anybody else in here, you know, if you're feeling a little generous, you feel like you want to throw $1 or $2 my way, always appreciate it. I read every super chat. One of the things I will say. Worry back in the comments. I have been in a stream where the host doesn't read super chats, and I think I don't know what it is. I think that's one of the most annoying things possible because it's like they're paying for you to read this because they want something to be said, and unless they're saying something mean or something like really graphic or something that it would get you in trouble. It's just like, well, just read the comments, man. They're paying you. Why would you like what's the problem? I don't know. I won't name names, but I mean, like, I'm sure everyone has seen one of those streams before. It makes you not want to donate. So it's like anybody that donates, I'm going to read their comments. And like I said, unless it's something bad. How do you think they will announce at episode 170? I think they'll just say, like, Black Clover will be back and then maybe give, like, a date. Nero's power is probably going to be some kind of hacks. Oh, there's definitely got to be hacks to it, 100%. And if it's not hacks, it has to be overwhelmingly large-scale water. And the Bleach got canceled, where the manga falling off. Yeah, but what's weird is the manga randomly started coming back. Hope Johnny and Bosch prize Ichigo. Oh, he wanted to, so I think they're gonna. Oh, Atlas Flame is a dragon in Fairy Tail. He's a big Hellfire dragon. Mira's taken out. Mira can't defeat Gray is the thing. The thing is Mira Jane being above Gray because Gray gets a significant boost in both damage to devil/demons, as well as a counter to their abilities. That he was able to fight Mardgear. Mardgear was definitely above them otherwise in terms of power levels, but Gray was a Devil Slayer, so he could hurt him, as well as Aetherius Natsu. That means that Mirror Jane would have to be above the version of Natsu we saw fight Gray, which makes absolutely zero sense at all. Zero sense. Yeah, I really hope that Black Clover anime goes seasonal U. In terms of who held better against Scolion. It would be Mirror Jane not saying wins. No, she didn't. So the thing is, Scolion didn't even use a name technique on her. Scolion was going around her, kicking her to the ground with his arms crossed. He immediately used Absolute Ash against Gray. Gray countered it with Ice Make Silver, and then he just said, all right, fine, and he used Black Ash. And as far as we know, that has to be one of his upper techniques before he gets into like a secret art. He absolutely did better against Scolion, because Scolion, the only thing is, Mirror Jane's fight was longer because Scolion didn't do he didn't take her seriously. There were zero signs he used any of his big techniques. He didn't try, he could have turned her to ash. The moment that he kicked her in the back, if he took her as seriously as he did Natsu or Gray, he would have just grabbed her by the head, turned her to ash. GG. It's over. What was Elfman gonna do something? No. Why is Spade Arc only 12 episodes? It's just the first chunk. They'll get back to it. Let me scroll down. My favorite planet, Eden Zero. I like Digitalis. But more like, I like the planet, like, Sunjewel's probably my favorite in design, or in, just, like, being there, but I love Digitalis in concept. That'll get season. I'm hoping so. I'm a little hopeful. Black Clover has started adapting the manga. Now they would be caught up. That's why they're ending. Oh, yeah, they don't want to get caught up, too. I think that's one of the things that's going to be big, because they can't do another anime-only arc, and if they do a bunch of filler, it's just going to piss people off. I'm going to feel the despair, hopelessness after March 30th. Oh, don't worry. I doubt it'll end. Let me scroll down, because I do want to end the stream. Like, I feel bad not answering all the comments. Strauss versus Dante. Oh, Dante is bodying them. They have zero way of taking him down. No way to take him down. Like, the Straw Hats lack hacks. Like, Luffy has, like, he's got his clairvoyance, he's got internal damage, but what's that going to do against Dante? Nothing. And he throws the singularity, kills all of them. We're gonna do a fairy tale analysis video of the entire series. Oh, I still got stuff planned. I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna do more character videos and stuff, and I want to do more. I want to start doing analysis and arcs too, but that's just something that I have planned for the future. What's up, Gomez? How's it going? I'm just finishing up the stream, but I'm gonna jump over to Josuke's stream in a couple minutes. I'm just trying to finish this up. This is gonna like I was planning to do this for an hour, but it's like an hour 20 because I want to get to some of my comments. Yeah, no, Natsu is way more powerful than Black Clover or Jason. Like, we know that. Well, Javaldo, Natsu... So, if you put Natsu against, like, Demon Licht, or the one that just showed up to Clover Kingdom, he's gonna walk up and punch that thing, take it down. Like, Natsu should have no problem against Lucifaro. Like, after Natsu's fight with Alderon, there's, like, Lucifaro... Unless Lucifaro is, like, showing up and, like... I don't really know what he would have to do, because, like, we've seen what, like, dragon gods can do. Like, Selene casually fucks with the moon. She literally points to the moon and then, like, has massive, like, light rays shoot out of it and can freely cross between dimensions. Yeah, Natsu can solo Black Clover pretty easily. Rex, you should do a Noel prediction video. I don't really have any Noel prediction videos right off the top of my head. Guillotine got in trouble for, it's not even saying in trouble, like I said, we were talking about, like, talking about a statement, and he was, like, saying it more like August when he was saying that he was strong enough to wipe a country off the map. He was saying it more of, like, August was saying, I'm country level, instead of, like, August saying, I can destroy this country. But you have to take into account the size of the country he's referring to, but also how he does it, because the destruction method is important. Is the anime is the picture spoiler? No. So, I mean, this is a Photoshop. So, the scene in Black Clover, like, Asta there, that was in the episode today, and then that's Natsu. Like, he's not in Black Clover, and then Deku in the corner, he is not in Black Clover. Don't worry, man. I don't think I don't think I've stated anything that will spoil anything for the anime for you. Oh, my cat just knocked over this trash can. Stop it. Harrison, go lay down. What at you? Rex a chill dude. I'm not mad at Guillotine, but I was just like, I couldn't keep up with it anymore. I have to banish people from the arena, and like if they get too ridiculous. Let's see, the voice actress is mainly Aladdin from Maki. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't look into that yet. That's only was above from being banished. I said what I had to say, and what you had to say though was wrong. Like, it makes no sense to ignore the size of a country. That's like saying that destroying Russia is the same as destroying, like, frickin' Finland. Like, blowing up Finland is, like, not even close to the amount of power it would take to blow up Russia. The way that you destroy something, as well as the size of what's destroyed, come into play. August wasn't saying, I can wipe a country out, like he's literally saying, reading it off a wiki, saying, I'm country level, look. That's not what he was saying, it's silly. But yeah, I'm gonna end the stream. Sorry about that. Sorry if it's getting a little cut short. I am gonna real quick because I'm pretty sure Josuke's already streaming. Yeah, he's streaming right now. I'm gonna link the stream. He's got 82 people over there, and we got how many? We can put this over 100. We've got 46 people here. Here, everybody here. I'm going to go into this stream. I'm gonna link it. I'm gonna go into this stream. Let's take the 47 people over here and put it over there, and put him over 100. We're gonna put him over 100. Okay, I'm gonna silent it real quick. I'm gonna turn off the music because we're gonna head over there in a minute. Let's start flooding in there. We're gonna, you know, we can go in there. Everyone maybe like type something in. We'll say like Stampede or something. We're having the Dragon Horde show up. We're having everyone kind of hopefully flood in, and we'll see what they're up to. I'm hoping we can take it. He's got 87 people. If we can get at least 13 of you guys over there and put him over 100, I'll be pretty happy. I'd really appreciate it, though. You know, if we can get him to over 100 with the remaining people here. And just because I haven't gotten to all the questions, like debating whether or not August control, that you have to, Guillotine, you have to take in mind the type of destruction used and the size of the country. It makes no sense to just say saying destroying a country is country level regardless, when you could have a country that's really tiny. Look at the Vatican City. It's like 2 miles across. But yeah, any questions that you guys have that I didn't get to, just ask over there. Just you know, just at me in the chat, and I'll get to. I'll answer in the chat. I probably won't get the voice because it's his stream. I don't want to interrupt whatever they're talking about with, you know, whatever questions you guys have in that. I will answer it in the text chat of the stream. Just at me so I can, you know, it'll have the highlight and it'll show me, you know, what exactly it is. Oh, as the one thing I'll say, what we'll say is when we go over there, we'll say Wizard King Crypt Radies. Just mention something about the Wizard King Crypt and Radies, because that's something I've been saying for a while, and it would be really cool to see what people have to say. So I'm gonna jump over there. I'm gonna end the stream, and we'll go. Let's get Josuke to over 100. We had a hype Black Clover episode, and it'll be really fun to see his stream get over to 100 with this, because it definitely deserves it. His streams are definitely fun, and obviously like he's way more Black Clover centered than I've been lately. So I mean. His is way more Black Clover centered in general. Like, obviously, like, Fairy Tail is my primary series, so, I mean, I still love Black Clover, but you know what I mean? Black Clover is his main focus, so it makes more sense to get over there for the hype train. And he's got more people over there as well. He's got J Cloud as well, RTL Face, so we're gonna go over there. So, thanks, everyone, for showing up for the stream. We're gonna go over there and see what's going on, and we'll talk about the episode. But yeah, so, thanks, everyone, for showing up. Obviously, Kimano, thank you for the super chat. And we'll get going over there to some shenanigans. But like I said, thanks everyone for showing up. Appreciate everyone for any of the comments and the likes. But as I said, just we'll go over there, and any questions you guys have for me, we